case is really worth, I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA filing number 16-7970.
WNXX Jackson, KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. LA 21 12681. Offices in Baton Rouge. Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Wednesday. That have to work week in the rearview mirror. Hope you're having a good one. We're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Got Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. Matthew Bruni coming up in 15 minutes. LSU and Kentucky from the PMAC, 5 hours from right now. It's a huge one, really, for both teams. We'll talk about it coming up in 15 minutes. It's What If Wednesday. Be sure to get those into the Bayou 4 chat or hit me up on Twitter at HuntPalmer88. Really excited to end this hour with my guy, Brandon Taylor. Former Tiger safety, number 18, LSU Sports Radio Network. Also had a Lisfranc injury. BT had a Lisfranc injury at the end of 2010. You know what that 2011 season looked like. He mapped out his recovery a little bit earlier for me and kind of showed what that looks like. We know that Sam Levitt had the injuries about the same time in the calendar, so we'll talk to Brandon Taylor about what he remembers about that recovery from Lisfranc surgery and about this LSU team in the transfer portal coming up at 1:45. Second hour, ESPN ranked the NFL rookie classes. Where do the Saints come in? I'll tell you, it's quite high. J.D. Pichel at 2:15 talking national championship game, and then we will have a little bit of a portal look for LSU at 2:30. So lots and lots and lots to do. Lock it in. Let's crank it up with our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive. Presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
5 days ago, LSU didn't have a quarterback. Not one quarterback. Not like they didn't have a great quarterback or they didn't have a returning quarterback. They didn't have any quarterbacks on scholarship 5 days ago. It's a daunting spot, and it's a spot we knew they were going to be in. And you know what they were trying to do. They were trying to shop at the very top of the portal. From the guys that were in it, you went after Sorsby, you went after Levitt. You were pivoting elsewhere. Perhaps Damon Williams is going to jump in. You're keeping a monitor on Trinidad Chambliss. We know DJ Lagway goes in the portal, Bo Prabula. Like, you're looking at the guys from the Power 5 and trying to get your guy. But you understand that you just can't get one. One doesn't get it done. You have to get three. And that's not a spot I can recall LSU having been in. This is an era where quarterbacks transfer. And going to get one is a very doable thing. You can do that almost every year. When you have the NIL pocketbooks, the brand that LSU does, the head coach now that they have, Miami's doing this every year. Okay? You can go get one. But three's hard. And as of an hour ago, LSU's got three. You went and got Sam Levitt. He's your guy. He's your starter from Arizona State. Proven Power 5, Big 12 freshman newcomer of the year, playoff quarterback, massive production, big skill set. You go get Landon Clark from Elon to add depth. Don't think he was under any sort of guise that it was anything more than that. If he needs to play, they'll ask him to play. He's played a lot of football. But he's a depth piece. And then today, you complete the trifecta with the addition of Husan Longstreet from Southern Cal. This is an incredible job by Lane Kiffin. I am being cautious in this new era of college football with going over the top on transfers. Everybody is adding pieces to their roster around the SEC, around the country, and every fan base is going, this is awesome. This team is stacked. This team is loaded. Look at how awesome this is. This guy's going to be fantastic. This guy was a 5-star. This guy started at that school. This is going to be awesome. That's what we're all getting swept up in. And we did this in Baton Rouge last year, and the team wasn't great. And I'm trying to take a cautious approach. And that's why I told you earlier this week, I'm uncomfortable with where the offensive line is, and I think the defensive line has a bunch of what I would call league average pieces. I'm not elated every single time something pops up on the screen that LSU got a player. I'm trying to assess it a little bit more cautiously than maybe we have in the past. Am I always right? No. But am I trying to be a little bit more cautious? Yes. I am not being cautious about quarterback. This is as good as you can do it. Does it mean Levitt's going to recover and be the same player he was? Does it mean Husan Longstreet's going to live up to his 5-star name? It doesn't mean that quarterbacks from Elon are going to immediately be Trinidad Shambles. But in the situation LSU was in 1 week ago, to get Sam Levitt, to get Husan Longstreet, and to get Landon Clark, to actually create a little bit of depth in your quarterback room is wildly impressive. Because at that position, one guy plays. One guy plays. And you can add 9 portal wide receivers all you want. You can get 4 of them on the field at once. You can get 6 of them involved in a game plan. That's fine. But quarterback's different. These guys hop in the portal. They want cash. They want playing time so they can go play and earn more cash. That's the general consensus among these quarterbacks. Not everyone's wired exactly the same, but that's the general consensus among these quarterbacks. And so going to get 3 of them is a daunting task. And I am not here telling you that this sets LSU up at quarterback for 2027 and 2028. That's a ludicrous way to think in this day and age. It's ludicrous to think that way. It's not impossible. I'm just talking about next year's team. I'm talking about 2026. Because look, you're trying to set up depth. In the days where you've got a quarterback room that involves 3 former 4-star recruits that are staggered senior, sophomore, freshman, they're over. Those guys are leaving. They're not going to be here. So you've got to do everything you can to restock the shelves at that position year over year. Look at these examples I just pulled off the top of my head just in the Southeastern Conference in the last 2 years where you needed a little bit of depth at quarterback. Go back to 2024, not 2025, 2024. Quinn Ewers got hurt for a couple of weeks. Arch Manning had to come in and play. Carson Beck got hurt in the playoffs. They needed Gunnar Stockton. Graham Mertz was hurt all year for Florida. DJ Lagway got hurt as well in that Georgia game. They flip-flopped back and forth, trading off injuries. Blake Shapen went out for the year. They had to put Michael Van Buren in at Mississippi State. Lenora Sellers goes out against LSU. They've got nowhere to turn in that game. They go to Robbie Ashford. That ain't going to get it done. This year, Garrett Nussmeier goes out for the year. Lenora Sellers had a concussion against Vanderbilt. Got the floor wiped. South Carolina. Blake Shapen had to come out for some time. Camario Taylor went in. Zach Calzada got hurt in September for Kentucky, and they had to make a change. Quarterback injuries happen, and it's really hard to create depth, and LSU has made that happen. I'm not here to tell you how great it is, but the pedigree is as good as you can possibly do. This is not me talking. This is a professional scout talking. Again, not me. That's not why I'm here. This is a professional scout, Charles Power, from the On3 Rivals Network, talking about Husan Longstreet. You tell me what this sounds like. Top arm talent with arguably the strongest arm in the 2025 cycle. Has an absolute flamethrower attached to his right arm. Owns a compact build, a shade under 6'1", 195 pounds. Biggest hands among the players in this cycle. His passes have considerable velocity. Throws with a whippy 3/4 to sidearm delivery. Plays in an up-tempo offense at the offensive level that utilizes RPOs. Makes eye-popping downfield throws. Can stick the ball in covered areas. Shows the ability to go through reads. A twitchy mover who also presents a run threat on designed runs and scrambles and makes defenders miss in space. That's not me talking. That's Charles Power. Massive arm, runs up-tempo RPO offense in California, poses a run threat, makes defenders miss in space. I don't know if I could come up with a description that looks better than Lane Kiffin's offense. I really don't. Like, you could take Husan Longstreet's name off of that and just say, okay, write out a dialogue on what you think a Lane Kiffin quarterback should look like. Arm talent, make all the throws, quick release, up-tempo, RPO, can run, make guys miss. I don't know what else you're looking for. Now, the good news for Husan Longstreet is he's going to get to take a ton of reps in the spring. He's also going into his redshirt freshman season. He played 4 games at Southern Cal last year. And look, it's mop-up duty. I'm not going to read a lot into it, but he did a nice job. He was 13 of 15, 103 yards, threw a touchdown, didn't throw a pick, carried the ball 11 times, 76 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's pretty productive. It's mop-up time. Again, I'm not here to harp on 15 passes and 11 runs. But it's a big talent. It's a guy that Lincoln Riley identified. I think he's got a pretty good idea of guys that can play the position. and you bring him in as your insurance policy, in an era where your insurance policies generally are awful, this one's really good. So now, that risk that you had presented with Sam Leavitt when you brought him in, what's the Lisfranc injury going to look like? What's the recovery time? Is he going to be the same quarterback? That risk still exists, but you have mitigated it by going out and getting a former 5-star prospect with playing experience at USC that's okay with coming in, taking reps in the spring, learning, and potentially sitting in the fall. And you've got a guy you can turn to that's not some junior college quarterback, not somebody from a very much lower level. Not everyone's Trinidad Chambliss. I've told you that all week. That is a rare, rare case. Your odds of hitting on Trinidad Chambliss are minuscule. Your odds of hitting on a former 5-star who played some at USC under Lincoln Riley, they're not 100%, but they're decent for a backup quarterback in this era. So for Lane Kiffin to make this happen, it is a home freaking run. I've got my doubts about some of the position groups on this team, namely the 2 lines of scrimmage. Whether you share those doubts or not, doesn't matter. I'm just telling you, I'm not over the moon with everything that's gone on in the last 3 weeks. Quarterback, if you want to try to punch holes in this one, brother, I don't know what you're looking at. This is as good as you can do given the circumstances. Given the circumstances of 0 scholarship quarterbacks 5 days ago, to add what some call the number 1 player in the portal, a former 5-star with a lot of eligibility and some playing time, and then a depth piece who is a starting quarterback at a lower level who's okay being the 3rd string, you cannot do any better than that. Now, you put him out there with those skill position players that you've brought in, with this system that is produced year after year after year after year. I feel good about where LSU's offense is, assuming they can shore up offensive line with like 2 more guys. Like 2 more guys. And you feel good about the offense. And I think everybody feels pretty good about where they are on defense. We knew this would be a transformative 2 weeks. We knew it would be a nonstop 2 weeks. We knew it would be a high-powered 2 weeks. It'd be a Twitter-filled 2 weeks. It's been that. This is a home run for LSU to make these 3 quarterbacks fit over a 4-day span. Hat tip to Lane Kiffin, Charlie Weiss Jr., Billy Glasscock, everybody over there at LSU. You hadn't won a single game in 2026, but this is a heck of an effort to put together that position group at this point. Amazing work for LSU. That's our opening drive. It is brought to you by Fabry Chevrolet GMC. I'll tell you about them here coming up. LSU, Kentucky in the PMAC tonight. I got a preview at LouisianaSports.net. Let's talk to Matthew Bruni about it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Speaking of Fabry Chevrolet GMC, they bring you our opening drive every single day, and they've got an incredible inventory online every single day at FabryChevrolet.com. You can also make the short drive up to St. Francisville, Highway 51 there in St. Francisville, under new ownership. Probably driven by that dealership many, many times if you spend a lot of time up there in the Felicianas, up in Point Capee area. Now it's under new ownership. Since October 1st, it's been the folks over at Fabry Chevrolet. They've been in our community for 35 years. You know that family, you know their reputation, and know what you're going to get when you go there. Incredible buying experience, service after the sale, wonderful customer service. It's all there from the Fabry family, and now they've got that Chevrolet GMC brand behind them. Looking for a Tahoe? Those are really hot. New year, new car. How about a Chevy Tahoe? They've got them. You can check it out online at FabryChevrolet.com. Maybe you're looking for a GMC, a Denali, or a Yukon. Those are hot as well. Want to get into those SUVs? Check them out online at FabryChevrolet.com. It's folks at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. The entire inventory is right there at FabryChevrolet.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Want to be sure you're in your pool by the time spring rolls around. Check them out at builtbyrenaissance.com, builtbyrenaissance.com. Matthew Bruni covers LSU for the Bengal Tiger, part of the team over there at On 3. Joins us now here on the Jim's Firearms Hotline for LSU and Kentucky tonight, 6 o'clock. Matthew, how are you, man?
I'm doing great, Hunt. Thanks for having me on.
It's our pleasure. Which of these coaches you think had a more uncomfortable night of sleep last night with the reality of how big this one is for both Kentucky and LSU?
Oh, man, that's a good question. Because McMahon obviously has a lot of pressure here. That means to get in this week with Kentucky, Missouri, to get back on track, whether Thomas plays or not. Pope, however, coaches at Kentucky, and they might burn his house down if they lose. So who knows at this point.
It's a tough scene up there in Lexington right now, although they did play well, especially in the second half back on Saturday. Let's talk LSU first. Pretty non-committal on Dedon Thomas yesterday, but my read on that was not overly positive. What has LSU been missing without him in the lineup?
Yeah, I agree in terms of it not being overly positive. I wrote through yesterday. I talked to just some people around the program, and I didn't get the feeling that this was going to be a realistic game for him to come back. Obviously, the hope would then be Missouri. We'll see how that works out with a few more days. But without him, it's just all been a mess. I mean, everything we talked about this team in the non-conference was true, and I think it was accurate, but all of it was predicated off of Dedon Thomas's performances. Even when he wasn't scoring a ton of points, even when his stat line just was a 12-5, it's still everybody else had their role and they were comfortable in their role. Markel Sutton and Mike Nwoko are prime examples of guys that played perfectly off of him, knew how to attack, knew what their role in the offense was. Without Thomas, you see a lot of just role uncertainty and just in general a lack of confidence, I'd say, from all these other guys here. Max McKinnon got it going a little bit, but overall, you look at Nwoko, you look at Sutton, two guys that were huge in the non-conference, but a lot of their game is based off of Thomas.
Yeah, Nwoku, 6 points in each of the last two games. He had been a top 5 field goal guy in the Southeastern Conference and had routinely been scoring 16, 18, 22 points, albeit against lesser competition. I mean, is there reason to believe he can give you more than the 6 points without Thomas, or is he completely dependent on catching lobs and catching weak side rebounds that go back up?
Yeah, I do think, he had a good game against A&M in the first game of SEC play. I think that they're going to try to get him the ball in the post. They're going to try to manufacture some easy touches for him. He's still really efficient in terms of his post hooks and what he can do with his back to the basket. But like you said, the problem is he just doesn't get those easy ones going to the rim where he can catch, dunk, or catch an alley-oop and finish. And they don't have as much pressure on the rim because of that. But I do think that will be a key for them in this game and really in any game Thomas doesn't play in, is getting him post touches. But then the next problem with that is the lack of shooting allows teams to really be aggressive on him in the post, and that's what we've seen the past couple of games. So we'll see how it works out, but I do think that's going to be an emphasis.
Perimeter defense is a question that we've asked a lot recently. How do you feel LSU matches up with Kentucky tonight, being able to keep those wings out of the paint?
I do think it's going to be tough. I think that's probably been the most disappointing part of the past. Even go further back than conference play. Really, the past 3 or 4 weeks has been the perimeter defense. I remember during the first game of the season, I was like, this team just doesn't get into opposing guards. They don't make teams uncomfortable. They're currently 309th in turnover percentage defense, so they're not turning people over. That's where you get the Christian Anderson for Texas Tech going off. That's where you get South Carolina starting 10 of 13 from 3. Vanderbilt's going 52 in the first half. So it's a huge concern, especially with kind of the pace that Kentucky plays with, and we know Pope likes to shoot threes, and they're coming off a game against Mississippi State where they played extremely well offensively. So you're going to have to contain Otego-Away, preseason, player of the year in the conference. They are going to be, I believe, without Jalen Lowe once again. And overall, they're still very talented, but it's going to be up to LSU to defend the best that they have this conference season.
Yeah, I think Lowe's done with his third shoulder injury that he's going to get looked at and fixed. So I don't think they'll have him for the foreseeable future, potentially for the rest of the year. So two teams without their point guards tonight. For LSU, Rashad King has had an increased role with De'Don Thomas being down. Obviously, Jalen Reese as well. What have you seen from those two?
Yeah, Jalen Reese, I think, has performed exactly how I would have expected him to perform in this situation. Just like any sport. I mean, you put in a freshman quarterback, you put in a freshman left tackle, you put in a freshman pitcher. Like, it's just, you're going to take the ups and the downs, and I think he's progressed, but asking him to play 35-plus minutes in an SEC game is just a lot for him and really for any freshman. I mean, heck, Tennessee has the number 4 freshman in the country, and Nate Ament, and he's struggling. I mean, they go down the list, but I think he's improved. He'll have to have a good game. He'll have to just make some open shots and not turn it over. And then Rashad King, I really think, is the key here without Thomas. Not to say that he supplants Thomas in terms of creation, but just his 3-and-D ability. They really need him to be sharp. They need his athleticism on the perimeter. Because if not, then they kind of get thin over there and they have to go to Mozzie Mosley and some PJ Carter and stuff like that. So hopefully King has a good game, and we'll see how that goes.
Let's play a hypothetical. What if LSU wins tonight? Like, what does that mean for them moving into Saturday, even with considering potentially Thomas's availability if we're talking 3 days down the road?
It would be huge. It would be huge to win this game. Missouri at home is a tough game with or without Thomas. They need to win. If Thomas doesn't play in these 2 games, they need to win at least one of them just to keep some sort of hope available that they can make a run in the back half here. I do, if you lose both of these, you got the next 2 games are Florida and Arkansas, both on the road. It's going to be very difficult, even with Thomas. So you need to win at least one of these 2. Going into the past week, I was hoping that Thomas will be back for this Kentucky game. You win these 2, and you look better going into the rest of the season. But this would be a huge win. I really think, it's almost a must-win. At least this in the Missouri game, they have to show some life here. If not, they could be staring at the barrel of 0-7, and that would pretty much be a wrap.
That would be a wrap. 0-7 is not something they can come back from. Yeah. Not with this talent in this league. So. Hopefully get one of these next 2. Do you think they beat Kentucky tonight in the PMAC?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't believe that I can't pick them to win any game that Thomas isn't playing,
yeah.
Just flat out. If Thomas was playing at this point, I think they could have beat A&M. I think they would have beat South Carolina. But, again, it's all ifs, ands, or buts. This McMahon era has been littered with that. I mean, Jalen Cook 2 years ago, Jalen Reed and Tyrell Ward last year, and now Thomas. So, it's unfortunate, but that's just how it goes.
It is. It's a really difficult league to compete in. This is a tough job, and it's just been bad break after bad break. We'll see LSU and Kentucky tonight, 6 o'clock from the PMAC. Last question, Matthew. Has Kim Mulkey's team found anything here over the last two games and a nice win on Sunday against the top 5 Texas team?
Yeah, I do think they found something. I think they found their defense. I think that they've just kind of learned what they are, and my biggest gripe with the schedule was not the fact that they were playing bad teams for 2 months. It was the fact that they didn't even know what they were good and bad at for 2 months. And so when you get your teeth kicked in a couple times, you lose a couple of games in conference play, they realized what they needed to work on. They went to work on them. They come back and they beat Texas. They're still a very, very talented team, and they're going to be competing, for Elite 8, Final Fours again in March.
He's Matthew Bruni. You can find him the On3 Network, part of the Bengal Tiger with our guys Shay Dixon and Bryce Kuhn over there. So we'll see you in the PMAC tonight, man.
Yeah, see you then, Hunt.
Matthew Bruni with On 3. This is going to be kind of our basketball segment for the day. I'm going to spend a lot more time on football moving forward, but LSU's playing Kentucky in a monster game, so I wanted to get a little bit of a conversation in with Matthew on that. I wrote a preview up at louisianasports.net. It's a huge game for both teams. If Kentucky loses this game, they're just in big trouble. They've already lost to Missouri at home. They would have lost to LSU. And those are two of the lesser teams in the league right now. And you've still got to play Tennessee twice, and you still got to play Vanderbilt twice, and you still got to play Florida, and you still got to go to Arkansas. And they didn't create any margin for error in the non-conference because they went 9-6. They lost every consequential game they had. The one thing I'm looking at with this Kentucky team, and I wrote about this, they have not won a single close game this season. Not one. Their average margin of victory, they're 10-6. Their average margin of victory is 31.1 points per game. They have not won a game that's been decided by less than 12 points. All their wins are by 12 plus. 48, 47, 42, 50, 36, 12, 12, 14, 24. They have not been dragged into deep water and come up. And maybe they're figuring themselves out because it's a new roster with some transfers, and maybe they're just not that good. I don't know. But when they've gotten into close games, they have lost. They are 1-4 away from Rupp. And look, they've been shellacked a couple times. Michigan State hammered them. Gonzaga beat them by 35 in Nashville. Bama beat them by 15. It's not a Cal superpower. They got talent. You'll see it on the floor tonight. Otega Owe is a great driver, super athlete, can knock down threes. He's a good player. Denzel Aberdeen, 6'5", wing, good player. Leads the team in assists per game. Shoots a three okay. But they got Malachi Moreno down there on the block, 7-foot freshman who was a McDonald's All-American, but Nwoku's got 3 years on him. More physical than him. I'm with Bruni. I can't pick LSU to win basketball games in this conference without Deion Thomas. But you saw Texas A&M last night. Texas A&M went on the road to a good Tennessee team and played them in a triple overtime. A&M's pretty good. That was their first league loss. And LSU went to College Station without DJ Thomas, and they were right in that game with 2 minutes left, and the freshman point guard who wasn't even supposed to be out there turned it over twice. They're not devoid of talent. They're not awful. But they are on the brink. And tonight's their chance. If you're going out to the PMAC, get there a little early. It's going to be crazy traffic for those 6 o'clock games, and see if they can get a win. If they can win tonight, you keep the lights on. You can potentially get Deion Thomas back. You might be able to beat Missouri at home. You win these next 2 games, you're back. You're okay. You're okay if you win these next 2 games. Lose tonight, I will slap the must-win on Saturday's game. I don't do it very often. I will do it. And if you lose the next 2, as we talked about, it's over. So here we are, LSU and Kentucky tonight. Pair of flawed teams. Neither one has their point guard. A couple of coaches who are feeling a little pressure. There's a lot on the line tonight for a mid-January game between teams that are combined 1-5 in the league. I'm excited to go watch it. We'll see what happens. LSU and Kentucky tonight at 6 o'clock. All right, we'll come back with What If Wednesday. Brandon Taylor in about 12 minutes. BT had Liz Frank surgery. What can we expect the next 8-10 months to be like for Sam Levitt? We'll talk to BT about it coming up a little bit later. What If Wednesday next?
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Marucci, it's almost baseball time. Got an email yesterday. Jay Johnson's going to meet with the media next Friday. That's exciting stuff. That means baseball, softball, coming up all over the place, including here in the capital city. If you want to do a little team building for your youth baseball or softball team, why not take them to go see where the official bat of Major League Baseball is produced? It's right here in Baton Rouge at Marucci. Why not take them into the cages there at Marucci? They can knock a few balls around. Get ready, get ramped up for that spring season. Go to MarucciSports.com, click on Campus Tour. Go check it out, whether you're a group, team, class, just an individual that wants to go see it. You can do that over at Marucci Sports, over at MarucciSports.com. It's such a cool story, such an awesome concept, and such a shining star here in our city to have the official bat of Major League Baseball made right here. Go see them over at Marucci. They're online at MarucciSports.com, MarucciSports.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Shout out to the folks at Oxner. Got your Eat Fit Alcohol Free for 40 challenge. Registration is open, cranked up at the beginning of January. If you're looking for a 40-day reset to kind of help you sleep better, boost your energy, maybe feel your best, check it out. Like, it's not about giving anything up forever. It's just seeing how your body may respond when you take a break from alcohol, maybe let it recharge. When you sign up for that Alcohol Free for 40 challenge, you get access to pre- and post-challenge metrics like body composition, blood pressure, and some optional labs. You can actually see the actual data that shows what changes your body makes over the course of 40 days. People that have done that alcohol-free for 40 challenge report clearer skin, more focus, brighter mood, some better sleep. And that usually happens within the first couple of weeks. So Oxner Eat Fit supports you. Zero-proof drink ideas, nutrition tips, a community of people all taking on the challenge together. Registration is open. So whether you want to join it as an official event or maybe just take the challenge from home, it's your chance to reset and feel the difference. So learn more over at alcoholfreefor40.com. That's alcoholfreefor40.com. Thanks to our friends over at Oxner. All right, we'll talk to Brandon Taylor coming up here in about 10 minutes. BT went through a Liz Frank injury, had it repaired, had to go through the rehab, came back from that 2010 injury, and y'all know what happened in 2011. It was a pretty special season for LSU, so we'll talk to BT from the LSU Sports Radio Network coming up here in 10 minutes. Right now, it's What If Wednesday.
Time, space, reality. It's more than a linear path. Where a single choice can branch out into infinite realities. Follow me and ponder the question, what if?
All right, so what if you spend an hour long talking about baseball in the middle of football transfer portal season?
That one came in via Twitter. I saw it. I chuckled. Here's the deal. If I start talking about baseball for an hour right now, we will run out of things to say by early February. There's just not a month's worth of content on that team. Now, they're going to start practicing, and I'll be out there, and I'll bring that to you as it comes. But, I can go through you position by position right now, and then that content, it's not going to change 2 weeks from now. It just is what it is. So Jay Johnson will meet with the media coming up next Friday. They'll have some scrimmages starting next Friday. We'll see how they stack the pitchers on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays in those scrimmages in the weeks leading up to it, and that'll give you an idea of what the roles look like for that first week, and we know that those will change and all that. And look, I love it. I love baseball. We know Muso's got the podcast up and running, and I'm not going to ignore it when they start practicing. But right now, we'd run out of ammunition if we started firing them off right now. That's just the way it goes. And the one thing I like to pay attention to, Jay Johnson is incredibly gracious with his time. I guarantee you he'll go on with some of the podcasts on YouTube that cover college baseball. I guarantee you he'll go on with Flynn and Hester. I'm sure Matt will reach out and have him on. You will hear from Jay Johnson a lot, and he'll hit those high talking points. He'll speak at the first pitch banquet and all that. And there will be 4 or 5 different things that he says every time he does that. And I pay attention to all that because I listen to everything that he says and take all that content in. It gets old the 5th time you hear it. And so my goal is for you to not have to hear things 5 times. So we're not going to start getting into them right now on January the 14th. There's plenty happening in football, and I'm going to pay attention to basketball as long as they're fairly relevant. And I would contend right now they are, but I've told you all week, you could be 4 days from real trouble. So we'll see.
Oh, we're going to see tonight. So what if Indiana beats Miami by 30?
I know what the narrative's going to be. You're going to see the graphics. You're going to see 2019 LSU. You're going to see all that. I just don't buy it. I'm just not here for it. I think it's a completely different era where nobody's got depth. I think that the teams that Indiana has played are not nearly as good as some of the teams that LSU played. And I don't think the star power is even close. I don't think the statistics are even close. So I'm just not here to hear it. I realize that may make me elitist. I realize my inherent bias on that. But if you want to line up those Indiana guys against our LSU guys, and the thing is, people are like, well, you can't really just go off draftability and what they do in the NFL. This is a college team. And on its face, that is correct. You can't. but they're not going to go play each other. I can't teleport and time travel the 2019 team in here to go play them in Miami. So the only thing we have is statistics and honors and accolades and what these players ultimately became. And so do I think Indiana's played anybody as good as that Bama team from 2019? I don't. I don't think they played anybody good as Clemson from 2019. So that's what I think about it.
I ain't gonna lie. I kind of like how LSU's become that 2019 LSU team has become the standard of what a good team what it's supposed to look like. I kind of like that because it's like y'all, it's just you're trying to match up, but you're not there. So I kind of like that.
I appreciate those who suggest that LSU's defense was not good in 2019. I just disagree vehemently. Yeah, they could not tackle Vanderbilt well enough, and they couldn't tackle John Rice Plumlee. Point made. They gave up too many points in those games. But by the end of that thing, and then if you look at the guys from that team that went on to be studs in the NFL, it's a long list. That defense was good. By the time they got to Tua, and which, by the way, Bama had 2 busted plays for touchdowns and a punt return touchdown.
Devontae Smith.
Then they got to Georgia. They got to Oklahoma with Jalen Hurts and CeeDee Lamb and all those guys and put them in a locker. And they had Trevor Lawrence and T. Higgins and Travis Etienne. That defense was plenty good. So I'm just not going to listen to the rhetoric. I don't care if they beat Miami by 30. Miami has a bad quarterback and is one-dimensional. So we'll see.
Whoa. He beat Ole Miss. Remember, we said
we
respect
Shout
that.
out Carson.
Yes, I'm about to
Shout out. Thank you. But you're not that great.
I'm about to say, man, he did what needed to be done. So what if you had an NFL Rookie of the Year vote?
Am I just way off base if I think Travion Henderson has a good case?
I'm not a Shuck guy with the NFL Rookie of the Year because he didn't beat Atlanta. If he would have beat Atlanta, I could have that discussion.
Travion Henderson, 911 yards and 9 touchdowns for a really good New England team. Like, Shuck was great, but it was half a season.
Yeah.
I like Travion Henderson's case. I think I like it better than Tedero McMillan's case.
No, I do. See, McMillan's kind of the chalky pick, and I hate that's where I'm at with the chalky picks because only reason he's got these numbers is because he played all year long. Now, if Henderson was a starter because he was splitting time with Steve, well, even he splitting time, he was like in the doghouse for a lot of the beginning of the year. So I like Henderson for sure. I just can't do the Shuck thing because it's not enough games played. But if he beat the Falcons, we can have the discussion. So what if Bryson leaves Live?
I think it dies. I think he's the linchpin. I mean, I just don't think you're gonna and I think Bryson is like, you can't run Lib through Cam Smith, Mark Leishman, Phil Mickelson at 53. It doesn't work. Like if you don't have Bryson, it's just like the Rom show, and like I think Rom's gonna try to come back even though he was late, so he's got another year on his contract. Like I certainly hope it happens. I don't know that I have confidence it'll happen. Brooks always knew that Liv was a complete joke, so I thought there was a decent chance that could happen. Bryson, I'm less confident in. But his answer at the Liv thing, whatever it was, where they were all answering questions yesterday, they're like, what do you think? He's like, well, I'm under contract this year, and then we'll see. That doesn't sound to me like a guy who's really fired up to re-up with a joke of a golf league. So I'm hopeful that Bryson leaves, the thing folds, and everyone associated with it considers themselves a massive failure. That's my hope.
Well, you might be coming towards that, man. Just keep speaking into existence. So that's it for What If Wednesday.
All right, that is What If Wednesday. Sam Levitt. Probably LSU's quarterback next year. Likely LSU's quarterback next year. Liz Frank injury, end of October. Brandon Taylor had the same deal happen in 2010. He's going to tell his story, how that worked out. Close out hour number 1 next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing. Lifetime Roofing. Baton Rouge based, but they can service the entire state of Louisiana. And they are so proud to offer, as of January 1st, a lifetime workmanship warranty on their roofs. Lifetime workmanship warranty. A big roof is a big decision. And a lot of times you don't know whether or not you need one. Well, the folks at Lifetime Roofing, they care. They're not just here to make a sale. They're not just here, hey, well, let's throw another roof on it. Give us your money. No, they'll go up there and they'll inspect that roof. That part's free. If you need a new roof, they will tell you need a new roof. If you just need a tune-up, you just need to fortify things, they'll do that. Maybe it's just a quick repair, and they can handle that as well. It's not just an automatic new roof. If you need one, they can do it, but maybe you don't. But that lifetime workmanship warranty is such a separator. It's such a difference maker, and such an incredible offer from the folks at Lifetime Roofing. Whether you're dealing with an insurance claim or whether you're dealing with just buying a roof retail, They can help you with financing 0% up to 18 months. That includes financing a deductible if you need to. It's Lifetime Roofing, Baton Rouge base, wonderful growing office here in Baton Rouge off of College Drive. Happy to help you out. And don't forget that lifetime workmanship warranty. It's Lifetime Roofing. You can find them online, lifetimeroofingla.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Renaissance Homes and Pools brings you our Wednesday shows, builtbyrenaissance.com, builtbyrenaissance.com. Let's go out to Jim's Firearms Hotline. My guy with the LSU Sports Radio Network, former Tigers safety number 18, Brandon Taylor, good enough to give us some time. BT, how we doing?
Oh, we're doing good, Hunt. Been a long time, man. I ain't seen you since last year.
It's been a little bit. It has been since last year, now that we think about it. 16 days to be exact. I want to talk Liz Frank. LSU signed Sam Leavitt as its quarterback. He got hurt in October, had that surgery right around Halloween. And now the question is when he can return. We know that you dealt with that issue at the end of 2010. So kind of start us off in that timeline. When did you get hurt, surgery, and kind of what that next 6-8 months was like?
So I got hurt. That was the beginning of the second quarter, November 5th against Alabama. I went to plant. I remember the play very vividly, covering Marquise Mays on the out route, and I went to plant, and my cleat, the bottom of my cleat snapped in half, and so did my foot, and I tore my Liz Frank, and it was something that an injury that I've never heard of, but I knew previously after I went in the locker room talking with Dr. Bankston and Jack Marucci that Matt Malk had that injury before, and that it was something that I could potentially come back from pretty fast if I had the surgery and rehab very well. But those next 6 to 8 months, it was very tough for me because Patrick Peterson, he left the junior year and stuff like that, and then I didn't know when I would be able to come back off of that injury. But it was just a grooming process as far as I went into it mentally as strong as I could, and then coming out on the back end, I became a better player because of it, because of I had time to sit down and actually watch more film and learn the safety position even better. And I think Sam Levitt would do the same thing as far as that's one of his tools as far as being a runner with his feet. But I think in this time he'll be able to watch film and work on throwing mechanics and things like that and become a better passer more than a runner.
So obviously you miss spring football. As you mentioned, you're watching a lot of tape, but when are you feel like you're able to get out there and maybe start jogging a little bit, maybe start running a little bit and then change direction? Like, what was the spring like?
Oh, so I had my surgery that was November 15th. So I wore a boot. I stayed in the boot for 3 months.
Okay.
Just for precaution and everything, but I was able to run sprints at the last week of fourth quarter drills. So our fourth quarter would go into beginning of February. We had 21 days of fourth quarter. So that first week in February, I was running sprints full speed, but I was still timid as far as stopping, no lateral movements or anything like that. But the one thing that me and Jack Brucey actually talked about this morning, we came up with my whole game plan as far as what I did as far as rehabs to dates and everything. I would run in a swimming pool with an underwater treadmill after every workout for 20 to 30 minutes. And bro, when I tell you that was the most humbling, I have nightmares to this day about that damn treadmill in that swimming pool.
So as far as the physical part and the mental part go to match up, what was the first to come back? Physically, you being okay, or mentally saying, all right, I can trust my foot?
It's physically being okay. Mentally, he's not going to be mentally okay with it until he get hit and pass for the first time. I didn't know I was okay until that first day of training camp when I was able to plant my foot and actually hit somebody and have that sudden impact of me pressing up against my foot and having some type of pressure come up against it after that first play. It was all hell broke loose then. But as far as the physical aspect of it, I actually shaved time off my 40 and everything because your body naturally. So I tore my Liz Frank on my right side, on my right foot. So my right leg was constantly trying to catch up with my left leg. So I became a faster player, more explosive and everything. My body changed completely from that injury.
How do you remember feeling? You just mentioned it, but just physically getting on the practice field, how did you feel on August 1st when y'all went out there to get ready for Oregon?
Oh man, it was just like a first day of school out there. I went out there to practice. Jack was wanting to put a green jersey on me for no contact. I was like, look, if I'm going to be out there, I'm going to be out there all the way, and I'm going to be out there full speed. Because I'm going to hit somebody. They may not hit me, but somebody get hit. So it's you got to dive head first into it and see where you at because you put the work in as far as rehabbing and getting back to a point to where you need to be, and you just got to go out there and trust your mind and your body.
So, look, I know you're not a doctor, and every injury is different, every position's different, and we're talking about 15 years of difference in terms of medicine and all that, and it's a quarterback who's not going to get hit at practice. But you feel based on your experience, that you have confidence Sam Levitt in early August should be able to go out there and practice with LSU?
Oh, most definitely. He will be out there day one practicing with LSU, especially the fact that he's a quarterback. I mean, you got to think, Hunt, I'm a defensive back. My first movement is backward. Everything I do is with planting and change of direction and hitting people. He can step back, work on throwing mechanics and everything, get timers down with receivers. I would just have him just sitting in the pocket. We know he can run. He can run. That's not going to be an issue. That will always be there. It will never be him. But as far as being a better pocket passer and awareness as far as pocket presence, I would have a full, complete practice where you are not allowed to run as a quarterback. You have to stay in the pocket and make a throw or read or throw it away or check down. And I think that's the kind of mentality and mindset that they're gonna try to work with him that first week coming back in the spring ball, and I think he's gonna be a better player because of this.
We got 2 minutes left. LSU had a really aggressive go in the portal. Secondary's pretty much holdovers. You got DJ Pickett, PJ Woodland, Tamarcus Cooley, Deshaun Spears. Like Corey Raymond and Jake Olson kind of had their guys. How do you feel about the secondary as far as LSU stands right now? They're kind of just bringing everybody back.
I think we don't miss a beat in the secondary. I think that's just the secondary is a lot at LSU. I just think that that's going to be it's back to a place to where the turnover is going to be like it's not you're not going to blink an eye as far as a turnover, like as far as players coming in, players coming out, leaving, and everything like that. Like it's plug and play back there in that backfield as long as you keep Corey Raymond back there. And I think those guys are going to be ready to play. And you got so many snaps back there that's been played as far as like the veterans and even the guys that came back that are backups. Like that just shows that the maturity level in that room, and that's what you need on that back end because that's your most exposed end on the defense because that's where you get your touchdown scored on you.
BT, we appreciate a little bit of time. We'll catch up in spring ball, all right?
All right, Hunt, be good.
It's my guy BT, my partner in crime, the LSU Sports Radio Network. And that's pretty encouraging. Now, keep in mind, every Liz Frank is different. There are different degrees of it, all that kind of stuff. But for BT to heard it a little bit later than Sam Levitt did and to be out there running a little bit February, March, and be a full go for fall, that's what you got to hope. And so that's what we hope for Sam Levitt as well. But I didn't know that he had that list. I know he got a foot injury. I didn't know that was it, so I wanted to get his thoughts on that. We're going to pause for Sports Center, get you some national headlines, come back, talk about more LSU football when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. FabryChevrolet.com, of course, is the website. Highway 61 in St. Francisville. I want to invite you to come on out and see him. New ownership at that location. You know the Fabry family. They've been in business 35 years, 3 different locations, 5 different brands. Now so proud to have Chevrolet and GMC under their umbrella. So if you're looking for a Tahoe or a Silverado, maybe looking for a Suburban, they've got them online. You can see them on the lot as well. Check them out at FabryChevrolet.com. Maybe on the GMC side, you want a Denali, maybe a Yukon. Get yourself in some new wheels for the new year. They are thrilled to help you out with that at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. You know you're going to get unbelievable customer service. You're going to have a pleasant buying experience, and you're going to have great service after the sale, whether you're in the market for a new vehicle, whether you're in your market for a pre-owned vehicle. Check out my friends at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They're on Highway 61 in St. Francisville or online. It's FabryChevrolet.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email LockeMeredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you'll likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Oregon quarterback Dante Moore announced he'll return to the Ducks for the 2026 college football season. His return makes Oregon one of the favorites for the national title next season. He'll project near the top of a loaded QB class for the 2027 NFL Draft. ESPN reports former Ravens coach John Harbaugh is in New Jersey interviewing for the Giants head coaching vacancy. His first known visit since being fired last week by Baltimore. He had a virtual meeting with Atlanta on Monday. Along with the Giants, Titans, and Falcons have emerged as frontrunners for Harbaugh. ESPN NFL front office insider Mike Tannenbaum.
I think anybody that gets John Harbaugh would be lucky. You know, he has the sort of, you know, obviously the pedigree, the experience. You know, you have to make Jackson Dart more consistent, healthier. Obviously, he's had experience with a similar style quarterback in Lamar.
Mike Tannenbaum on Clinton and Friends. As was the case this past NFL season, the Jags' plan for Travis Hunter in 2026 will be for him to play on both sides of the ball. The team was encouraged by what it saw from Hunter before his season-ending knee injury last fall.
Hey, it's Pichel Smallman coming up Thursday. From Cam Ward to Jackson Dart, I'll tell you which second-year quarterback is primed for success next year with a new head coach. It's on Sportsman, like 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane's studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Hour 2, Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Officially half that work week in the rear view mirror. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Working towards the weekend. We'll chat with J.D. Pichel about the college football playoff final coming up here in 15 minutes. LSU targeting two guys that I think have real potential in the transfer portal. One on the offensive line, one on the defensive line. We'll do that coming up in 30 minutes. But right now, let's talk some black and gold to begin the second hour. Aaron Schatz of ESPN.com ranked the 2025 NFL rookie classes in terms of the teams with the most production. And as I always do when I see these lists, I look at it and I go, okay, where do I think the Saints rank? And my instinct was like pretty high. Now, this one is done with some real metrics. The DVOA rankings, which are play to play, like how much production you're getting. It's very objective in terms of data that they pull, snap counts, tackles, yards, value added, win rate on different plays. Like it's not just like, well, I thought that group played pretty well. There's actual metrics that go into this. So if you look at the top 5 in this metric, Carolina comes in at 5th. Tetero McMillan obviously carrying a lot of the weight there. Nick Scorton, Princely Umamielian did a good job for them there. New England Patriots with local product Will Campbell there. Jared Wilson, Travion Henderson, really good class there. 3rd, the New York Giants. Jackson Dart, Abdul Carter, Cam Scadamu before he got hurt in his 5 starts. They come in at 3rd. The Cleveland Browns come in at 2nd. Had a couple of quarterbacks they took in the draft, Carpin Swessinger. And then the number 1 pick, by the metrics, on ESPN.com, your New Orleans Saints. And when I was reading this, I was curious how much shuck was going to weigh into this. And truthfully, not that much. He is the lead in this blurb. Said he ranked 21st with a 49.2 QBR in 9 starts. And as they continue, it's not quite Saints are set for years territory, but Chuck has certainly earned the right to become that over the next couple of seasons. Says blindside was protected by first-round left tackle Kelvin Banks, who started all 17 games. He was above average in run block win rate at 75.6%, a little bit below average in pass block win rate, but 87.7%, not awful, and you would expect him to be that in his first year playing left tackle in the NFL. But Ben Solak and his all-rookie team highlighted third-round pick Jonas Sanker as a premier communicator and coverage player. Quincy Riley, who was in the 4th round as the team's third cornerback, was above average in coverage, according to DVOA. He made 5 starts. Danny Stutzman did not make any starts, but he had 59 career combined tackles. And they did factor in that you've got a third-round pick coming back in Vernon Broughton, who had an injury in week 2. So the point of the matter is that you got a lot of guys' experience. Some of it was exceptional experience. There were flashes everywhere. And the feeling is this was the best draft class in the NFL. And you know what? It's okay if Fadil Diggs didn't help a ton. I know Molokai Mataval played at the end there when you were hurting for pass catchers, but wasn't a huge impact guy. Vernon Broughton didn't play this year at Texas. Maybe he's a bust. Maybe he's a hit. The point I'm trying to make here is that the Saints did what they never do, and they made 9 draft picks. And so you take all of those lottery tickets, and lo and behold, to varying degrees, you got some hits. Like, you're not going to hit the Powerball on 9 draft picks, but you might have with Shuck. You might have won the $5 million prize instead of the $100 million prize with Kelvin Banks. You might have got a scratch-off hit there with Danny Stutzman. It might have paid, but if you trade away your draft picks to move up 4 spots to take somebody with a good relative athletic score, your chances of hitting worsen. And the Saints did not do that. And it is imperative that they do that again with this draft coming up. I went on a rant 2 months ago about how they were worse than league average across the board at every position. I pinned that on Loomis. I pinned that on Ireland. I pinned that on Kai Harley. I pinned that on Gale Benson. I pinned that on everyone. Because they were. Before that run of 4 straight wins, you could not have looked at that organization and that roster and suggested, okay, this is getting better. But Shutt gave the ultimate spark. And Banks was pretty good. And then Stutzman got a chance to play a little bit, and you saw more of Quincy Riley, and you saw more of Jonas Sanker, and you started to win games, and then Devin Neal made a couple of plays before he got hurt. And now all of a sudden you realize that could be a young foundation, but you have to do it twice in a row. We can go back and pull the tape, but I know what I said going into the 2025 draft. You need to get 4 starters. And then you got to come back the next year and get 3 or 4 starters. You've got to find 7 or 8 guys to play. I didn't say all pros, but you got to find 7 or 8 guys to start. Because you need the rookie contracts, you need the youth, you need the talent, you need it all. And right now, Kelvin Banks is a starter. Tyler Shuck's a starter. Jonas Sanker's a starter. And Quincy Riley's probably a starter. And I'm not even talking about Vernon Broughton, Danny Stutzman, Devin Neal. So you might have 5 or 6 starters from this draft. You still got to go get 3 or 4 more in the next draft. And the beauty is that you don't have to try to reach for a quarterback, which can derail a lot of stuff because a lot of quarterbacks don't work out, and your hit rate's probably a little bit better at other positions early in the draft, and you can do that now. But the negativity that was surrounding Ireland and Loomis was well-founded. Their drafts in the last 4 or 5 years have been awful. Their draft in 2025 looks incredibly promising. We won't be able to tell that whole story for another year, maybe another 24 months. But it's a step in the right direction. And if you can do it one more time, I don't want to be hyperbolic, but if you can do it one more time, you transform an era? I don't think that's hyperbolic. I didn't say win 4 Super Bowls. I didn't say start a dynasty. I did say transform an era. And that era is rooted in Kellen Moore. It's rooted in Tyler Shuck. And it's got to be draft picks. And if you can hit on one more draft, one more, then you should have enough money freed up in free agency to plug the holes that you have, which should be lessened because you've hit on these draft picks. But this is incredibly encouraging. This is not local New Orleans radio guy. This is not local Baton Rouge radio guy. This is not local Lafayette radio guy. This is not Locked On Saints or anybody that's right here, that's locked in the bubble, that's looking right at this thing from as close as you can possibly be. This is someone that's surveying the entire league with some objective data over at ESPN. And they look at the objective data, and they look at the entire league, and they look at the Saints draft class and go, that was the best in the first year. That was the best one. And it's not skewed by the fact that somebody really liked the quarterback. Because I could see some NFL analysts going, yeah, I think these other guys are okay, but who cares? They got the quarterback number one. That's not why they did this. They're taking into account the other guys, their production, their positions on the field, their youth, and I'm taking into account their salaries, and you put all that together, that's incredibly promising for New Orleans. We knew that the draft pass was encouraging, but I'm further encouraged when I look at an ESPN publication that feels the exact same way. Hats off to Mickey Loomis. Hats off to Jeff Ireland. Hats off to those guys for getting it right once. But you can't just get it right once and then fall on your face. You got to do it again. We'll get to draft coverage as we move on in the spring, but encouraging stuff for the Saints to be considered at the top of the NFL with their draft class over at ESPN.com. You can read the full story over there at ESPN.com. Our guy Ross Jackson feeding you great info at LouisianaSports.net. Going to have a lot of draft content coming up. Going to have a lot of free agent content coming up, and it's all for free right there at LouisianaSports.net. If you want our Saints content, of course, you can always find that over at Hunt on Saints. Appreciate y'all for helping us grow that channel into the offseason. Should be some great opportunity for discussion. So go subscribe to the channel. Go check us out at Hunt on Saints. All right, let's talk some college football national final, as well as what the story is on Lane Kiffin from a national perspective. We'll do that with J.D. Pichel of On 3 next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Renaissance Homes and Pools. Check out their great work, builtbyrenaissance.com. It's builtbyrenaissance.com. If you've been thinking about a pool, you got to call my guy, Joey Blanchard. And I will give you his cell phone number in a second. You can grab your phone, and I'll give you a cell phone number in a second. But look, it doesn't matter what kind of pool you're looking for. Maybe you got a huge family, want a big, huge pool in the backyard that can fit 6 kids. He can do that. Maybe you're at a different stage in your life. You just want a little cocktail pool that you can spend some evenings in. Either way, Joey Blanchard can make that happen for you. They can customize it to your exact specifications. Maybe you know what you want. You can start that process. Maybe you have no clue. You just want a swimming pool. Well, let Joey go through it with you. And the beauty is he's the owner of the company. So you're going to be dealing with the owner of the company from the consultation to the design to the dig to the pour to the fill, all the way through. You get my guy, Joey Blanchard. Call him, 225-252-7745. That's 225-252-7745. Start that process today in January so that when that weather heats up, you're ready to get in that pool that you've always wanted at your home. It's Renaissance Homes and Pools. They can do outdoor kitchens too. You can find them online at builtbyrenaissance.com.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience, or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me? Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here, helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you?
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Chugging right along here on this Wednesday, half that work week in the rearview mirror. We're going to get to a couple of LSU portal targets coming up here in our next segment. But we always talk to our guy J.D. Pichel from On 3 at 2:15 on Wednesdays. Give us a little bit more time. 2 more left in this football season. We'll preview the national championship game today, and then we'll talk about it as a whole come up next week. J.D., how we feeling?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. Also feeling good that college football got a win over the evil NFL and kept a quarterback in Dante Moore in Eugene, man. So hate to watch it go, man, but love to watch it leave with the college football national championship on Monday, and excited to talk some ball with you, man.
Let's start with the home team here. LSU has pulled in 30 kids in the transfer portal, including Sam Levitt, and now Houston Longstreet at quarterback. How you feeling about the way Lane is restocking the shelves in Baton Rouge?
Hey, man, I mean, 2025, that bracket I put together in preseason, I was like, this is the year, baby. LSU, national champs. You know what? I'm thinking about taking another dip here. It's January, so I'm just circling like a shark around that take. So, tongue-in-cheek aside, I think it's impressive that LSU is able to have so much volume with Lane. I think it speaks to the way they are obviously well-resourced on the NIL front. I think it speaks to the way Lane Kiffin and his staff are able to resonate with these kids in the portal. My biggest take, though, is this is not going to be a year that you have to use a different filter on if you're an LSU fan when it comes to your expectations. I think for some coaches across college football, like Florida and John Summerall is a great example. I don't think anyone is showing up to his house with pitchforks and torches if they go 8-4. It's like 8-4, first year in the SEC for him. Let's see what next year is. It will not be chill vibes if Lane Kiffin goes 8-4 his first year in Baton Rouge, and having Sam Levitt as your quarterback now means you have what you need to ideally here do better than 8-4. So I think it just means we can assess this year as a real year sample size for Lane Kiffin, his first year on the Bayou.
A lot of optimism down here in Baton Rouge, that's for sure. We'll kind of see how things shake out the rest of the portal cycle and into spring football. All right, let's go to the action that we saw at the end of last week into the weekend, specifically Dan Lanning and Oregon. Second straight messy exit for the Ducks. Good teams. Ohio State was really good last year. Indiana's really good this year. But what does it mean for Oregon?
Oh, thanks for saying that. I feel like everyone's acting like Oregon just got blown out by Cornell in the college football playoff. And I'm like, hey, they have only lost to, in the last 3 years, teams that have either won or played for a national championship, going back to Washington and DeBoer during that 2023 season. So I think Oregon's like a really easy team to dunk on right now because they wear the flashy uniforms and it's easy to do the layup stuff on social media where you say, well, they got the 0 in their logo and the 0 in the national title column. I get all that. I don't think we're properly calibrated to like the progress they've had over the course of these last few years. And like, I'm not even trying to be glass half full guy. Like the fact that they have advanced further every single year under Dan Lanning, I don't think should be just completely dismissed. And for whatever reason it is, I'm looking at Oregon with Dante Moore coming back. I'm saying like they should probably be all in on trying to go win a natty in 2026, and like that should be where the bar is set. And I don't think that's like an irresponsible thought. The one thing I will say though for Oregon, if I'm being critical here, being at that game in Atlanta, Oregon was just so stubborn and refused to play anything besides man coverage on the back end on third down against Indiana, and it was just like it was a back shoulder clinic, man. I mean, you saw it. It was just Candy from Baby, Surratt. It was Cooper. It was Beck. It was just every single matchup. Indiana was just thrashing it. And so I think my biggest concern here from Oregon coming out of that game and coming out of this season in general is like the lack of willingness to have another answer as a defense. So a little bit in the weeds there, but I'm not sweating anything when it comes to Oregon. I think they'll be right back in that mix next year. And Dante Moore coming back obviously does nothing to negate those expectations.
The other semifinal loser was Ole Miss. How do you feel about the Rebels? Do they build on this, or does it feel like that was probably a decade, 2-decade, 3-decade run?
It's a great question. I don't know if I have. I kind of just feel a little bit kind of like how you feel after the last day of school when you wake up for your first morning of summer. You're like, I don't feel that different, even though everything is different. I don't really have like this emotional high off of us making the semifinals, and we lost Lane Kiffin, but Pete Golding seems like a good coach, and we got we got it together to make a run. I'm looking at Ole Miss, and I'm encouraged that they looked as good as they did against Miami because I think you can market that. Like I think if you're trying to go against the negative recruiting of, well, Ole Miss lost Lane Kiffin, why would you want to go there? You get this playoff run where Trinidad Chambliss is awesome and Pete Golding is doing a lot to cut himself a bit of a public promo, if you will, being seen as like the cool coach in college football. He's drinking a beer with Marty Smith during the interview, whatever. I think there is reason for optimism. For me, I'm just going to have to see it before I believe it. Like I think Ole Miss having better players in the SEC than the teams they're going to have to beat to get back to where they were this year is a tough bridge to cross, but we'll see. I've been wrong before more than just my LSU Natty prediction in the preseason, so we'll see what happens there.
JD Pichel, host of the Hard Count on 3 National College Football. Wherever you're looking for college football, you can find him daily. All right, let's go to the national championship game down on South Beach. I'm told Indiana's got the largest living alumni base in the country, and Miami's playing at home. So tough to get in the building, but should be a festive environment. Do you give the Canes a shot?
I do, just because of what you said. The fact that it's a home game, the fact that it's got so much emotional juice behind it with Cristobal being for Miami and playing at Miami. There's so much unquantifiables on the Miami side to make me think this game won't still be competitive going into the fourth quarter. The tricky thing is if you're picking Miami, you're picking them to do something that nobody has done this year, which isn't just beat Indiana, but force Indiana to make some mistakes. Like I keep saying this, you can't spell Indiana without AI, and that feels like what they are. Like they are machine-like, they are without error. Like Fernando Mendoza has thrown more touchdowns than incompletions this playoff. That's absurd. And so with that being the precursor to this, I don't feel good picking Indiana to do something they haven't done this year. And so for that reason, I'll roll with the Hoosiers. I think they actually win and cover, Hunt. I think it's kind of a little backdoor situation where we get maybe a late field goal from the Hoosiers, or we get a little late touchdown to put it away. I think it's 27-17, and Indiana flips the college football world on its head and brings home a national title to Bloomington.
I watched the game, Penn State and Indiana, in a hotel before I was doing pregame, and couldn't be locked in on it. I certainly saw the end and the incredible catch in the back of the end zone, but why was that game close? Can Miami do anything similar to what Penn State did that day? I know it was a road game for Indiana.
Yeah, I think they absolutely can. I think the fact that they were able to run the football so well against the Hoosiers is something that should be noted. My thing is, if you're going to beat Indiana, it still to me is going to require forcing Fernando Mendoza to make some mistakes. And I mean, he hasn't had a double interception game this season. So with that being the intel we have going in, it takes a lot of stuff we haven't seen yet to forecast for it to happen. So maybe it's a line of scrimmage thing. Maybe Miami truly is that much better up front, like we've, labeled them over the course of this playoff. But I have a hard time seeing that happen to the degree where Miami plays clean enough to win this game. Like, that's the thing. It only takes, I think, one slip up for Indiana to grab you by the throat. And when they land one of those punches on the jaw, they don't really tend to let up, Saban Signetti style. And it's a tough bridge to cross for me, Hunt.
What does Miami need from Carson Beck on Monday?
They need him to throw 0 interceptions. They need him to take the money when it's on the table. If we got some play action dialed up and we got those safeties creeping up, like we're not going to get a couple of extra swings at this.
Yeah.
Like, you have to cash in when there's some of those vertical shots available. So the biggest thing I would say is no negative plays, especially interceptions. But I think especially on like 3rd and 7+, if we find ourselves in that situation, we got to be good enough to be able to convert, which sounds simplistic, but that was kind of how they won the game against Ole Miss. Like, you go back to the average down and distance of 3rd down for the Miami offense. With how they won the game and how many points they scored, you would think it was a lot more manageable. They had an average of 3rd and 8 against Ole Miss. And so 3rd and 8 against Indiana, as much respect as you give to the Rebel defense, it's going to be a lot harder to convert. So throwing catchable balls on 3rd and 8+ and allowing your guys to win in man coverage is going to be the biggest thing for me with Carson Beck. But no picks. We got a chance, Carson. Here we go, babe.
You like the Hoosiers and the cover. Big picture here. We're sitting here in the middle of a playoff. Teams competing for a national championship. LSU signed 30 kids out of the transfer portal. You had this situation in Seattle where Devon Williams was in and I'm not in because there's legal stuff involved. And you got Trinidad Chambliss with trying to get his 6th year, and they're suing the state of Mississippi. How do you feel about the current state of college football? Like, big picture, you good with it? Do we need to make significant tweaks? Or are you just focused on the game that they're playing on Monday? Like, big picture, what do we think?
I'm just ready for us to get to the final resting spot where we can actually start building. Like, I'm not into the whole we're transitioning with the playoff. We're not sure about the portal window. And I'm good with tinkering. I'm good with getting it right. But I would much rather just know where we're going to be at so we can start to actually put a solid filter on this thing. Because even going back to how we're assessing, like, the situation at Alabama, like, everyone's mad that DeBoer's not Saban. It's like, yeah, no doubt, there's only one Saban. But even then, you're like, well, but Saban, got this far in the playoff and he won this many national titles. And you're like, yeah, but that was way more difficult. It's way more difficult right now for DeBoer to go win 3 to 4 games, win a national championship, and way more difficult with NIL and the portal to keep his team in place than it ever was for Saban, which shouldn't take anything away from Saban, but just the way we assess success in current college football versus that of like 5-10 years ago, I think is really skewing our picture of what is and isn't successful in the current state. So I gave you a little more than you asked for there, but I'm ready for us to get to be truly like foundational part of the future of this sport, start building and get our expectations and filters in a row to watch this beautiful sport here going forward.
Enjoy the ball on Monday. We'll talk one more time next week.
Oh man, hey, I promise I'll never say goodbye. I'll see you later. So I will see you later, Hunt. One more time, man.
It's our guy JD Pichel on 3 Sports, host of the Hard Count. Good enough to give us some time on these Wednesdays. All right, 2 targets in the transfer portal that LSU is apparently on, getting visits from, or has gotten a visit from. I think both are pretty important. I'll talk about them when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
So you're a business, right? Looking for a loan? I know where you need to go. First American Bank and Trust. Well, why, Hunt? Why would I go to First American Bank and Trust? Well, that's pretty simple. They've been at this for 116 years. They know what they're doing. They got 25 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana, so you get all the resources that you need in your lender, but you also get that hometown feel. Hammond, St. Tammany, Tangipahoa, St. James, St. John Parish, Lafourche, Terrebonne, Dutchtown, Jones Creek, wherever you are. I was over in Metairie a couple of weeks ago picking up the Myers man from the airport. Saw First American Bank and Trust right across from where we're eating lunch. That's what you're going to see. And the people you're going to see in there are going to be the people that you go to church with. They're going to be the people that you go to lunch with, the people that your kids are in school with. And when you make a phone call and they make a decision on your commercial loan or your personal loan, that decision's made in Southeast Louisiana. When you make a call for a question, you're not calling a call center that's somewhere with somebody that you don't want to deal with. It's all right here. It's local. It's that community feel with the resources of 25 locations at First American Bank and Trust. I want to wish everybody a happy new year. Invite you to stop on by. If you're looking for a residential loan or a commercial loan, it all starts with First American Bank and Trust.
Investing in a new roof doesn't have to be overwhelming. At Pelican Roofing, we offer 0 interest for 21 months because everyone deserves a safe, secure home. Trusted, local, affordable. Pelican Roofing, making quality roofing affordable for South Louisiana families.
Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades. But our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
This new year, Hood Dental wants you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays, a $376 value. With over 3,000 5-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care, Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And for January only, save 15% up to $150 on restorative treatment. Schedule today at hooddentalcare.com.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
With all the delicious chicken finger options, it was an impossible decision.
How about a box combo? Good. Now what can I get for you?
No, I want a Caniac combo with extra cane.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Love telling you about my guy Jonathan Carbo, the team at the Highland Insurance Group. You can find them online at highlandig.com. That's highlandig.com. They love to help you out with your property and casualty insurance, especially if you are a business. But another thing that they certainly do over at the Highland Insurance Group is employee and group benefits. Benefits are a big deal. You understand that if you own a company, if you're CFO. Got to have great benefits for your employees. That helps you recruit talent, helps you maintain talent. And there's one specific carrier out there that when I was talking to Jonathan said, look, they're gouging folks on renewals. And if that's the case with your business and you're looking at your healthcare and your benefits renewal and you're going, this is really detrimental to the bottom line, get a second opinion, get a second option from the folks at the Howard Insurance Group. They're an independent broker. That means they can get you multiple options on the benefits front that may be able to lighten the load on you financially with that renewal. You don't want to compromise your benefits, but if you can do it at a more efficient price, why not take a look? Jonathan Carver and his team are happy to help you out with that. They're based here in Baton Rouge, but happy to help you out statewide. It's the Highland Insurance Group. Find them online at highlandig.com. All right, if you caught the beginning of the show, I just tipped my cap in emphatic terms to Lane Kiffin, Charlie Weiss, Billy Glasscock on the assembly of this LSU quarterback room. I think it is absolutely as good as you can do to go get a proven quarterback, to go get a 5-star freshman backup, and to go get a transfer from Elon for depth that has played some college football that's got some talent. There's no guarantee that means you're going to throw for 4,000 yards or win the SEC, but just looking at it, where LSU was 5 days ago with no quarterbacks and looking at where they are now with 3, I think is amazing. However, I do have some concerns with the roster construction currently. As I assess it, I think you're short on the offensive line, both talent and depth, and I think you need guys to affect the passer on defense. And so as I look at the current portal targets for LSU, and I look at guys that have visited or will visit, there are 2 names that are standing out to me beyond the 2 we talked about yesterday. Devin Harper from Ole Miss, who's from Shreveport, committed to LSU at one point, then played for Ole Miss for a year. He's in the portal, was going to be Ole Miss's left tackle next year. Like, yes, absolutely. And then, of course, Jordan Seaton, former 5-star, future first-round pick from Colorado. We talked about those 2 guys yesterday. Absolutely. You can add those 2 guys in, slam dunk. But there are 2 more guys that I want to talk about today that I think make a lot of sense, that I think would be quality adds that would help alleviate some of my concerns with LSU up front, both offensively and defensively. Let's start on the offensive line. Sean Tompkins is committed to North Carolina right now. He was a Baylor offensive lineman. He's going to be a redshirt junior, just finished his redshirt sophomore year. And he's going to visit LSU this week, even though he's committed to North Carolina. Go figure. In 2025, he played in 10 games. He played 446 snaps at left tackle for Baylor. He was over at right tackle for 14. I don't know if that was because of an injury or that's just a formation that they had where they overloaded the offensive line. Either way, you're talking about a guy who played about 460 snaps, the vast majority at left tackle for Baylor. His PFF grades are not awesome. 50.2 on offense, 48.1 run blocking, 56.1 pass blocking. That's not going to knock your socks off. But 6 of the 10 games that he played for Baylor, his PFF grade was a 70+. He had some real clunkers. Against TCU on the road, 27.3. And against Utah, 19.7. Half of his 12 hurries he allowed in one game against Utah. So there's some talent there, 6'5", 300, starting experience. I don't know that he's an all-conference player, but he's got starting experience in the Big 12. And I am looking at LSU's offensive line room, and I'm not telling you he's a plug-and-play starter at one of the tackle spots or one of the guard spots, or that he can even play guard. I don't know. But there's some solace that I get in taking him in with guys that you've taken from the lower levels. You've taken a junior college player on the offensive line. You have taken a player from the FCS on the offensive line. Adding someone from the Power 5 is not going to hurt my feelings. And I think that Sean Tompkins, who, look, Bill Belichick has decided he wants to take a look at him. And I know that they weren't great this year, but, like, I'll take his word for it. I'm not saying he's the end-all, be-all, and I certainly want Devin Harper and Jordan Seaton before I want Sean Tompkins, but I'm not kicking Sean Tompkins out the door. If he visits LSU, I would love them to add him because they just need depth. They don't have enough guys at offensive line right now. So that's on the offensive side. Sean Tompkins, former Baylor offensive lineman, committed to North Carolina. The other's on the defensive side, and that is Damon Wilson. Damon Wilson started his career at Georgia. He 56.2 against the run. Here it comes. 81.4 against the pass. 81.4 in pass rush. Listen to these statistics from PFF on Damon Wilson. 38 hurries on the quarterback, 9 hits on the quarterback. He had those 9 sacks, 6 in league play. This is a skill set I want. This is a skill set I want. I realize that you have added on the defensive front. You have. You've gone out there and you have added, in some cases, some big-name players on the defensive front. Jordan Ross from Tennessee fits that bill. Former 5-star, played for the Vols this year. Very likely a starter for them next year, and he comes in with a skill set to rush the passer, and his pedigree says he will. This is not a pedigree. This is playing in the SEC and getting to the quarterback. I need that. I think LSU needs that badly. I've got high hopes for Gabe Relaford. I hope he's awesome. You've got some freshmen that you're bringing in on the defensive front. You feel okay about Kalaj Cobbins. But I want a guy that's done it in the SEC. And Damon Wilson has done it in the SEC. He's come on a visit already. He's taken some time away during the dead period. But if LSU can make that work, that's huge. You have gotten to a point for me. I like where LSU is at running back. I think LSU is added on plenty at wide receiver. Tight end looks stacked. I think the quarterback additions have been awesome. Linebacker play looks to be good. I trust LSU in the secondary at corner and at safety. I'm looking at the edge of the defense, pass rushing. I'm looking at the offensive line. Candidly, right now, I don't think the offensive line is close. I don't think they're close. I think the defensive line is close. But if we're going to sit here and talk about competing for the college football playoff, which, look, I'm not going to criticize myself or anybody here on our station or anybody who's writing or blogging or on a message board for talking about the college football playoff this past August. I'm not going to criticize anybody for doing that. I think it's realistic to have those discussions at LSU. Couldn't fall flat. They cannot make it. But in January, we're going to talk about Omaha around here. And in August, we're going to talk about the playoff. You want to start talking about going to the Final Four in men's basketball in October, you're probably out over your skis a little bit. But in these two sports, football and baseball, we're going to talk about those types of chances that time of year. And that's what I'm judging these roster acquisitions against. 10-2, 11-1 playoffs. I think you've gotten to that level at a lot of places on the field. I don't think you have on the offensive line or the defensive line. Yesterday's segment, Devin Harper and Jordan Seaton, please. Got to add to that mix, Sean Tompkins from Baylor. Defensive line, Damon Wilson. That's a guy I think makes a ton of sense for LSU. I know that Kevin Peoples spent some time at Missouri, not with Damon Wilson, so maybe that correlation doesn't play. But maybe it's, hey, I've been to Missouri and LSU. LSU's better. Whatever. Make it happen any way you can. I don't know what's going on over there. They've added 30 dudes. They're doing something right. These are 2 more I would love to see them add moving forward. Sean Tompkins and Damon Wilson. Transfer portal targets, they're at 30. I'd like to see that number up 33, 34, 35. I think they're going to get there. We'll see as the time moves forward. All right. Got one segment left to go. Our Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. We'll come back and close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Look, if you've got a home that was built around 1990, 1995, 2000, the odds are you've got one of those standing showers and then one of those massive jacuzzi tubs. That was a popular thing at that point in time. Maybe you take a big old jacuzzi every night. And if that's the case, then I'm not really talking to you. Maybe you love the way that sets up and you're not interested in any changes. In that case, I'm not really talking to you either. But maybe now that we're 30 years down the line, that tub is not functioning properly or that shower's just kind of deteriorating because it's been used too much and you hadn't had any upgrades. Don't just call the guy down the street, hand him some cash and see if he can fix it. Get David Duvall in and come to do a full bathroom transformation for you. He can turn that standing shower into a linen closet. Then turn that tub space, that jacuzzi space that you don't even use, into a walk-in shower. It's a lot of space. Fits great. Go see the pictures of it at onebathandclosets.com. Do what our guy Brian Haldane did, host of Mornings with Brian Haldane on Talk 107.3 every single weekday morning. He called David Duvall, had that consultation, got that bathroom overhauled, thrilled with the results. You will be too. If you're looking for financing, they've got it 0% up to 18 months. Same as cash. It's One Bath and Closets. Find them online. OneBathAndClosets.com.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, Ice Cubes.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google. Based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Wednesday shows brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Want to get into the pool of your dreams? Check them out, builtbyrenaissance.com. My guy, Joey Blanchard, helped out dozens and dozens and dozens of Baton Rouge area residents get into the pool and the outdoor kitchen of your dreams. You want to make sure that by the time the weather warms up, it gets to spring and summertime, you want to do some outdoor entertainment, you want to have that pool that you've always wanted. Start that process now at builtbyrenaissance.com, or you can call my guy Joey, 225-252-7745. That's 225-252-7745. Renaissance Homes and Pools online at builtbyrenaissance.com. Interesting news just coming across the old Twitterverse. Grant Chadwick has decided to come back to LSU. And that's interesting because LSU went and got a punter out of the portal in Hayden Craig from Florida. Of course, Coach Houston comes over from Florida where he was the special teams coordinator there. He's going to coordinate the special teams in Baton Rouge. He brought a long snapper. He brought a kicker. He brought a punter. And Grant Chadwick said, hey, I'm gonna come and challenge. And that's great for LSU because Grant Chadwick kicked more than 20 punts over 50 yards this year. I thought did a very, very good job. That had been a sore spot for LSU in the year previous. They were terrible in 2024 trying to kick the football. They had 2 guys trying to do it. None of it worked. They were steady with Bramlett for the last few years, but then last year was a mess. And then I thought Chadwick corrected that. Just a sophomore, comes back as a junior, and he's going to compete with Hayden Craig, who is a redshirt freshman at punter. So I think LSU is going to have a good punter this year. That's a good thing, whether it's Hayden Craig or Grant Chadwick. Those guys want to be here, and that's a positive for the Tigers. Hopefully, not a lot of punting, though, with these 3 quarterbacks they've brought in, and Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss. But in case they have to punt, they should have a pretty good one. Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Let's start it off with, hold on, let me get this down a little bit. Let's start it off with some portal news with Dante Moore taking his name out the draft and returning back to school, and it's been known that Dylan Raiola is going to take the year and sit on the bench and redshirt at Oregon instead of, he did sign with Oregon, so is Raiola making the right move and sitting on the bench next year? Take it or leave it.
Depends on how much money you got.
Oregon paid him some money now. They paid him some money.
I'll take it. Look, I mean, you got years. You can use him. He's certainly no stranger to transferring.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was promised. It's just a matter of, in these cases, you probably need to be transparent. Like, I don't know what happened with Sam Levitt and the DeMond Williams deal at the end of the visit and how transparent that was or not. Apparently, Houston Longstreet was not thrilled with the way Lincoln Riley handled their quarterback situation.
Interesting.
And, it's a deal where everybody's in flux, everybody's moving, and I don't think players. I shouldn't paint with a broad brush there, but players are looking out for their best interest, and then coaches have to put the best team they can on the field. So, yeah, I'm going to go try to get a quarterback, and if there's another one available that I think is good, I'm going to go try to get him as well. It's an odd situation. It's a tenuous situation, but as long as everybody is simpatico when things settle, well, you just move forward, and I guess that's the way things are in Eugene right now.
Okay, so the Jacksonville Jaguars have some questions to answer this upcoming offseason with the number 2 pick, Travis Hunter, and which side of the ball he'll play next season. As the Jaguars have a loaded receiver room with Jacoby Myers-Parker, Washington, and LSU's very own Brian Thomas Jr. The GM came out today and said Hunter will play both sides of the ball next season. So is that the correct move for the Jaguars? Take it or leave it?
I mean, I'll take it. If you've got a lot of talent, he can help you on both sides of the ball. If you feel like you are stacked one place and hurting another, put him where you're hurting. If you feel like you're in pretty good spot in both places, just use him where you think it's advantageous. You can substitute in football. Guys can come in and out. You're not locking guys in one place or another. Just because he plays one side of the ball doesn't mean he can't play the other later in that game. I'm not going to pretend like I know the exact substitution patterns or the roster for Jacksonville, but I think that you take him as high as you did because he can do multiple things.
Yeah.
So you let him do multiple things.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to let him lose sooner or later because you took him with number 2 and you made it a trade with the Browns. So you gave up a lot of capital to get Travis Hunter. So with Brooks Koepka leaving Live earlier this week, Live Golf has signed 2-time major champion Dustin Johnson to a multi-year extension. The league announced Wednesday.
I bet they did.
Liv is not giving up without a fight. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. I don't know how good the fight is. That is, for those non-golf fans, that would be like the Pelicans signing DeAndre Jordan to a 2-year deal. 10 years ago, he really could help you out. As of right now, he doesn't care. He's checked out. He's cashing a check. Dustin Johnson spends way more time on his boat fishing than he does practicing his golf.
Ooh.
He had a great run. He also knows Liv is a complete joke, but they pay him a lot, and that's all he cares about, and that's fine too. DJ was very transparent about it. It's the guys that said they were trying to change the game of golf that I had a monster problem with, and those guys are still mainly over there. Koepka knew it was a joke. DJ knows it's a joke. Those guys are going to do what they think is best for them. Brooks Koepka wants to play real golf. DJ just wants to fish and collect checks, and he can do that.
I should have known when it said his last major win was 2010. I should have known he was a little bit
He
older.
won the COVID Masters. And then that was pre-Liv when he was still competing hard. Then Liv gave him a 9-figure check, and he said, well, I'm going to go hang out with Wayne Gretzky's daughter and go fishing. And he did. And he gained some weight, and he stinks at golf now, and that's fine. He's rich.
All right. Well, the Tuscaloosa News reported Tuesday that Ty Simpson officially submitted his paperwork for the NFL draft. We noticed, however, the details came out that he had an offer from Miami for $6.5 million and an offer from Ole Miss or Tennessee, Ole Miss and Tennessee for $4 million. So should Ty Simpson have put his name in the draft or went back to school? Take it or leave it.
Draft, take it.
I'll take it.
Look, I am not here to tell you. Pay attention.
I'm listening.
I'm not here to tell you that the transfer portal has not been amazing for LSU, for Paul Skeens and Jaden Daniels and Angel Reese and Tommy White, and like the names go on and on and on. There are some great things about the transfer portal, and I'm not saying abolish the transfer portal. But I can also stand here and say that a guy wants to go to Alabama, wait his turn at Alabama, play for Alabama, and then go try to be a professional without just taking a cash grab. And he said, like, if I went to Tennessee or Miami, like it would destroy everything that I built at Alabama. You can believe that or not, and I don't know that I believe that it would destroy his reputation at Alabama, but I would suggest that I can salute Ty Simpson for choosing to be a teammate and to be an Alabama Crimson Tide football player and to have that be home for the rest of his time when he wants to go back to where he played college football. Again, portal's fine. You want to transfer? Fine. That's the rules. You want to get money? Awesome. Those are the rules too. I completely get it. But I can also say that and salute Ty Simpson for the way that he handled that. I think it's great.
No, I think it is because a lot of guys are not one jersey guys no more, as you can see.
No.
So I think there's a lot of.
And I'm not mad at Sam Levitt for being my quarterback. I'm pulling for Sam Levitt hard. But I can salute Ty Simpson for that. It's a good thing.
So that's it for Take It or Leave It.
One word. Wildcats or Tigers tonight?
I gotta go Big Blue Nation. I'm sorry, guys.
That was a million words on a one-word answer.
I know.
I'm taking Kentucky too, but I'm hoping. I'll
get out of here, man.
I'll be in the PMAC tonight. We'll be talking about it tomorrow. You can read my recap on LouisianaSports.net. Matt's going to drive you home next one after further review. We're back tomorrow, same time, same place, with the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
I don't remember what my last live read is.
Swing Easy.
It's Swing Easy Golf Club. I love Swing Easy Golf Club, so it'll be easy to talk about. I was there on Saturday. Had a blast. We teed it up at TPC Sawgrass. Made a birdie on the first hole. Hit a great drive. Piped an iron shot right on in there. Had about 12 feet. Poured it right in the middle. You hit your drives. You hit your second shots. If you need to chip, you hit those. Got to roll a putt in. You make them. It's a real feel of golf. It's not the same, but you card a score, and we had a great time at Swing Easy. We had the music going, had the TV on mute, got a bucket of beers delivered into our bay. A great way to hang out on a Saturday afternoon playing a little bit of golf. Weather's cold, rain could be showing up. Swing Easy is always a great option to just go have some fun and play some golf, especially in these winter months. Go see them. They're on Seagan at Perkins. You can get a tee time at swingeasygcbr.com. Awesome spot to go play some golf. Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge.